rolls downstairs and rolls in pairs, rolls over your neighbor's dog.
What's great for its back fits in your back. It's log.
Yeah, that one's lost on me too.
It's log.
It's log. It's big. It's heavy. It's wood.
It's log.
It's log. It's better than bad. It's good.
Break for it. Come on, Pedro, break it down.
Break it down.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Techno remix.
If you would like to promote your upcoming Kickstarter, project, or game, or anything else, for as little as 35 wet stinky cashes, drop us a line at show@linuxgamecast.com and we'll send you the details. Coming up on this LinuxGamecast Weekly, the latest Steam update prepares for new releases. Humble goes not so weekly. We play the most CPU-intensive game ever created for Linux. Then we throw some chairs at Sonic 3D. All this, plus your hate mail, coming up. Let's go. Welcome back to another Linux Gamecast Weekly, the show that covers Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, interviews, and more importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. Joining me every week as, well, it just happens. They just keep showing up. Massa Sveng.
Why am I here?
I don't know, but here's the P-Man, also known as Pedro Mateus.
Lies.
And we come in every week to discuss the latest Linux gaming news and all that fun stuff, Steam news. We got a few things coming up. We actually have the most taxing Linux game ever made on this week's episode. It's kind of fun stuff.
It'll shock you.
It will terrify, petrify, and cause mild constipation or an aneurysm. Can't make any promises about the aneurysm, but keep your fingers crossed. But before we get started, we always like to catch up with each other, see what's going on, scream in each other's direction. So we'll start this week with you, Massa Sveng. How's it going?
Real estate market in Toronto sucks.
What do you mean?
Trying to find a new place to move, and every time we find a good place, someone just swoops in and signs it, and then we have to start looking all over again. It's fun stuff.
The world hates you. This is known.
Oh, this is not news, but anyways.
And, well, good news. I've actually landed a job interview on the coming Monday, so hopefully I will not be unemployed next time. Hopefully.
That actually
You
sounds...
keep deluding yourself.
Hey, Portugal needs sanitation workers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, at this point, I really wouldn't mind working on that because I'm getting really, really, really poor, and I kind of need a job.
Well, speaking of jobs and monies, man, how can they help us out?
Oh, they can check us out at linuxgamecast.com/podcast, where we got our wonderful little RSS feeds for HD and SD video and SD audio. We also got our Amazon affiliate links there. You can click on those and help us out with some of the microtransactions. Or if you want to throw us some wet, stinky cash, you can click our lovely donate buttons.
That also gets you on the
also
leaderboard. We got a couple of new things in here.
Oh, yeah, we got the leaderboard going for people who have recurring monthly donations.
And if you do over a $10 a month recurring, you get access live every week. I don't know why you'd want to watch them, but some people are a bit voyeuristic. You get to check out our show notes as we type them.
The proto show.
What else do we got, man?
We got our YouTube page, youtube.com/LinuxGamecast, where you can find all our horrible little videos, that we delight in watching you subject yourselves to. And we also got our brand stinky new... Oh, no, we got our favorite subreddit, Linux_gaming. You can
But
check
unfortunately,
that out.
someone has beaten with the ugly stick.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
It looks like something... It looks like my first web page.
It looks like a soapbox.
It is what it is, but it's also got some of the best news on it, you know, the latest breaking stuff going on in the Linux community, so definitely check that out. But you were talking about a new project, J-Man?
Yes, our new whacked out little project, Game of Who.
Oh,
Where you
yeah.
can see grown men with mustaches in blonde long wigs and chainmail bikinis. Need I say more?
Sold.
Well,
You know you like to
obviously, I probably do. So,
Where can I go to buy this? Wait.
Yeah, you can go to gameofwho.com.
What do I mean by we're giving it away for free, so check that out.
It's cheap as free. Yeah, talks about Game of Who, or Dr. Thrones and Game of Who. Yeah,
Dr. Thrones and
Dr.
Games of Who. Right on. So, we'd like to start this out after we get done with a little catch-up, you know, roundabout session here with something of a public service announcement and how to bypass Nvidia Power Miser and adaptive cocking or clocking, as you might say. Has anyone ever really had problems with this in our group? Well, you wouldn't know. You have a calculator, Pedro.
Well, my laptop could be running an Nvidia if I had decided to pay an extra 200 euros for it, but no. Yeah, it is.
Well, here in real computer land, I haven't been having any issues, but it's interesting. I'll definitely check it out when I got a few spare cycles.
Yeah, this comes from the Linux Mint forums. There'll be a link in the show notes. Basically, just how to force it into curb stop mode 24/7 without having to cock about with. I mean, when you go to your settings with Nvidia, you have adaptive, then you have performance, and it forgets that every time you reboot. This just puts it in that mode. Won't hurt the card at all unless you have like horrible cooling. I mean, check your temps. You know, performance mode, it should be able to run that without any issues. What was that?
It's not just the ADI drivers that do that. Cool.
Yeah.
No, I actually have my old laptop that I mentioned a few weeks back has an Nvidia card. Granted, it's an 8-year-old GS 7600, so it probably won't even have these options available for it, but I'm still gonna try.
Definitely something.
Yeah, the thing says specifically newer cards, so
yeah.
We'll have a link to that in the note, and that comes from, you know, the Linux Mint uses. But we need to get that vapor thing going on, don't we, man? That
Jordan,
vapors.
Did you get the scented candles I asked?
No, it's not my job to buy you scented candles. You go and buy your own candles. I buy boxes of incense. It's so much cheaper.
Did you say boxes of incest?
Incense.
Ah, all right.
But those two.
Yeah, I guess that makes more sense.
Yeah, there's incense. There's incest and incense.com.
Well, it's kind of like the whole Girl Scout thing. They don't actually come in the boxes. It's cookies. Just.
Yeah. But anyways.
A dead horse we like to beat every single week, and that is something we do, and it's
our Steam
Linux update of the week. Kind of a light week this week, gentlemen. We got
I'd say so.
one Steam client beta update, and as of April 17th, all it says, this minor update includes improvements for coming Steam releases, also adjust the diagnostic information in some of our automatic error crash reports. Users shouldn't notice any. That's my favorite kind of change. You shouldn't notice anything. But one thing.
Yeah, we changed some things, and
this part I like though. Upcoming Steam releases, right?
That
Left 4 Dead 2 confirmed on X.
We're not Phronix. We're not Phronix. Okay. Hey. What were you saying, P-Man?
No, well, besides the obvious where the hell's Left 4 Dead, it did bring up a question in my mind, which is upcoming Steam releases as in game releases or client releases?
I don't know. It's like they're still working around making tweaks to the Ubuntu, whatever distribution, Ubuntu Debian-based type deal they got going on, man. But Yeah, it's an update. That was the only thing that caught my eye was upcoming Steam releases. You know what? Valve released them. I know there's Valve time, but come on. You know, just Portal 1, maybe I'll be
They like to tease us.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It doesn't even have a 3 on the end, so what's taking them so long?
Valve time, baby. Valve time.
Valve time, baby.
Now, this was
But
kind of
anyways,
fun.
something's a bit anomalous here.
Well, if you mean anomalous, I mean Borderlands hardlocks your box up where you have to SSH into it or drop into a virtual terminal. You're right.
Yep.
Oh man, there's that. Anomaly 2 beta, if you were lucky enough earlier this week to grab one of the 600 or 6,000 keys.
6,000 keys they've given away for this. And, you know, I shot you critters.
Don't work.
And
Yep.
that's a bit of an understatement saying that it don't work. Because it shows up, it downloads, you click on it, and
you
it's
can
like,
tell the computer is doing something.
hey, freeze him, Alpha. And I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, no mouse response. You guys should take this out of the store because I hate to break this to you. Your average, like, new person to Linux, their first thought's not going to be Control-Alt-F2.
Nope.
They're going to be
It's
like, oh my
not.
god, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do? And then they'll kick their computer and
They run away screaming, then they come back with a lighter fluid and put it all over, then Jimi Hendrix the box. And Valve,
only way to fix your
you are
Linux
causing
install.
people to burn their computers. That's not good. Quit doing that.
Yeah,
Actually,
seriously, Ben, that's
you guys are Anomaly. Pull this out of the store. This has no business being there until it works. But you could even see the developers are like, sorry about that, guys. For now, we'll be operating on the PC. All right, PC and Mac are the same thing.
Yep.
Got a huge problem with that. Linux build is not fully written. No, you don't say. We're going to throw some Nick Cage in post on that one. Look for some updates in the. Well, you know, one of the updates, a bright idea would be to remove it from Linux until it's what's the word? I'm ready. That's a word.
yeah.
I'm looking.
Haven't we been talking about these Steam quality control things for a couple weeks?
Yeah.
And then this thing
Yeah.
slides through. That's a bit disappointing.
But it was mostly the 0-byte download thing, and that, well, after Flibbity
Bibio.
Ethan, before he,
Billy.
before he mentioned it, everyone was kind of like, okay, this shouldn't be happening. But then he explains why that happens, and okay, I suppose that's understandable to a degree. But this isn't even the issue. This is just a game that
Of course
flat
not.
out locks your X session and doesn't let you do anything.
Yeah.
Yup.
Yup.
That's what we've been saying.
But this next one here is all you, Pedro, since you're the only one
To
playing
change
it.
gears abruptly.
Change gear. Murder a prostitute. Check your mirror. Change gear. More power!
Roll down the window. No, it's Euro Truck Simulator 2. It's not a closed beta anymore. Now it's open. Everyone
It's
that
a
has the
pubic
game can
beta.
play it
Oh,
on
really?
Linux.
Steam only.
pubic. It's not public
Stay
here, Ben.
away.
There's no L.
All right, fine. This comes from webupdate.org.
Yep.
Euro
And
Truck
there are
Simulator 2. What is it, man?
still-
What is it? You drive around.
Yep.
And
You
you're a lorry driver, correct?
pretty much, yeah. You at first you start out just driving other people's trucks, delivering their cargo. But then after you get enough money, you can actually buy your own truck, upgrade your garage, hire some people, and actually run your company. It's a pretty in-depth simulator, and the driving in the game is freaking awesome. There's
so they
just
basically recreated hell.
yeah, but I like driving.
Is
sims. I
hell
do.
exothermic or endothermic?
Endothermic, actually. Misconception by
Yeah.
a lot of people, yeah.
Mm.
But there's one teeny tiny issue that they haven't solved yet. It's that the game flickers all the time with using the regular Mesa drivers and the ATI proprietary drivers. It's always flickering. There's a lot of flickering on the menu, and
Was it like a VSync issue? Or?
yeah, it is a VSync issue, and the VSync option in the game does not do anything. whether it's enabled or disabled, the flickering is still there. You have to either, well, if you're using the proprietary ATI drivers, you can just sudo AMD CCCLE and force vsync to always on. If you're stuck with Mesa, your compositing window manager defaults to vsync and you can work around it like that, or you're stuck with the flickering.
Now, isn't this thing still ludicrously $30 a...
It's around 20-ish at this point.
Yeah, I'm not paying 20 quid to be a lorry driver.
Hey, at least it's not Train Simulator with its thousands of dollars of
Millions of
downloadable
downloads.
Yeah.
Now, this is something me and Jordan both noped out of, but we did take a look at. Anna.
Yeah.
Extended Edition is now on Linux. Of course, it's an indie game. Meh.
And it's one of those adventure games that you actually need an FAQ to help you get through the puzzles of sorts, because there was one point that I actually had to burn a heart that I'd found inside a picture, take the ashes, rub them on a painting in order to open the door to the next area.
I thought that's how you normally turned yourself on anyway, wasn't it? Just kind of one of the other...
That's how I brush my teeth.
I mean, it's effing Tuesday for me over here, but...
Yeah,
It's
but unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, it's a Unity 4 game, and there's a problem on my end with Unity 4 and FGLRX. They don't seem to like each other.
No,
And-
you said something like, this is a regular problem with AMD and Unity, because AMD seems to take the that in stereo approach to
Yep,
Linux, even
pretty
today.
much. Yeah, I actually sent an email a couple of months back when CubeMan stopped working after they released the 12.10 drivers, and the response I got was, and I'm paraphrasing here, Linux is not our top priority. So my next logical step was, okay, let's tell the Unity guys, see if they can find a way to work around it. And then they asked me, okay, does it happen with all games or just with a few of them? And well, Guns of Icarus, CubeMan 2, and a few others are working just fine. But then there's Anna, there's that new one, Wonder, that's now in alpha, that also doesn't work. It just crashes after it's done loading.
I'm a tree.
So, do you think, Jordan, do you think Linus flips off AMD, or do you think it's just AMD is dead at this point in Linux?
I think AMD is sort of flopping around like a dead fish at this point.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that, and, you know, as a 10 quid game, I'm kind of with you, Jay, man. I'm going to wait till this goes on stupid sale.
Yeah, I wouldn't pay more than $5 for this.
Yeah, I mean, this looks roughly equivalent to the Slender clone we played a few weeks back, man.
Yeah, no, I got the sense of that. So I think that about wraps up our Steam news.
Yeah, that's going to take care of us.
Let's kick that dead horse in the corner for another week.
And we'll just bury it, put some 15-15-15 mix of fertilizer, a bit of diesel fuel on it, light it, and boom, baby. Right into the news. And welcome back to the news. We're going to blow through a couple of big stories. Actually, one's kind of fun. Some of them kind of big. Man, what is that first little bit we got going on? Something that I believe Jordan was infinitely excited about.
Oh yes, this is Seiken, the Crystal Kingdom JRPG beta, and it's a Java MMO that plays like an old school JRPG. And that's about as far as I got, because the second I heard MMO, I'm like, yeah, Pedro can do this one. Pedro, do this one.
Yeah, well, this actually comes from Seiken.org. And, well, like Jordan said, it's a Java-based MMO. The client's actually a .jnpl file. So you just download it, run it as a Java app, and you make your character. If you don't have an account, you need to make one. But one thing that struck me about this game is that it's strangely similar to an Android MMO that's called Warspear Online, which I actually played a lot of, and so I'm probably going to give this one a few laps. I actually played a little bit, but, well, it wasn't a lot to make an educated opinion.
Well, you know, Maddie in the chat room,
The shot room.
browser room. No, I'm guessing it's like Spiral Knights. You run it as a jar file, right?
Yep.
I suppose you could play it in a browser, though.
You could,
yeah, you
but
can.
You would be insane to do that in these times.
In these crazy times.
Wild and wacky times. But you know what, guys? You know what? Check this out. Let's get ready to humble. No.
Let's not get ready to humble.
Not this
then.
week.
Let's get ready to humble every single week, except for like this week or like maybe next week or possibly the week. We don't really know. We're just going to say that we're taking a break. This is humblebundle.com, their weekly humble sale, which is going apparent on us. It seems to be.
I kind of saw this coming. They don't have that many games. They have a lot, mind you, but I don't think they have enough to fill a deal a week.
They're mostly indie games too. I mean, as good as they may be, it's a niche market. So if you're going to run a sale every week, you have to have some pretty high-profile games to actually make it profitable.
Well, not even that. Here's my other thought. This is something I tossed into the notes. You know, if you're going to do something every week, stick with it every week. Don't call it the humble weekly sale. Call it like the humble sale.
Bi-weekly.
Occasionally. Giggity. Weekly, possibly every other week. You know, yeah, you already got the humble bundle. I know you're trying new things, but immediately, you know, after we got one bundle with some Linuxy goodness, the second one was Windows only, and this third one, nothing that we could play on Steam, which, but in this new week, you know, Tuesday I was checking this out and it was like, hey, come and check out the humble weekly sale of nope.
Fun stuff.
Humble.
So then, how's your computer?
Man, you know, I have a little tiny anemic 8-core AMD Black Edition FX series CPU. Not much, you know, just
80. Is it an 8120 or an 8130?
It's 8130 something. You know, not the fastest thing in the world. You know, with a turbo overclock, it's like 3.7 gigahertz, 8 cores of that now.
So if you go to Jerry's chess.tokelau.tk, you get this little freaking guy here.
Which I'm almost in the opinion this thing mines bitcoins.
It might as well, given the amount of CPU activity this thing freaking uses as it attempts to render an entire 3D chessboard on your CPU. Yes, this is supposedly the most resource intensive Linux game ever.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I'd buy it.
All 8 cores.
I'd buy that.
It's recommended to have an AMD CPU with 8 core or Intel CPU with 12 core, including virtual cores, to play this game fluidly, which is a lie because it maxes rendering LGC. And trust me, we're not upscaling. We're downscaling to send over the live stream, but we'll record in 720p. Rendering that out to the mezzanine file, the big file, meh, box doesn't. This, all 8 cores, slam, there's like 600% CPU usage. And it still ran at this. Yeah, it moved at the speed of smell. I managed to basically, you see here, I got like this, this is not me, but I did get my one pawn up.
I couldn't even get that far. It was like I wouldn't even register me clicking on one of the pieces. Just like click, Waiting.
Pedro,
waiting,
I'm guessing
waiting.
on your laptop, you executed it and it ran screeching out of the bedroom into the night. You didn't see it.
Actually,
I like to
heard
imagine
the
Pedro's like,
fan
oh yeah, I'll
kick
give
in.
this a shot. He hits enter, and then his laptop catches fire. It just
Actually heard
explodes.
the
It's like that
fan
episode of The
starts-
Simpsons where Homer's trying to make cereal and cat.
Well, if the game had actually run, I could probably fry an egg on my laptop. But no, I heard the fan kick in. The game was starting because the screen went black, and then I was back at the desktop. The fan spun down, and I'm like, okay.
Well, that's that. And the author claims it's
I
all
would-
AI
I would-
requiring this. But then again, exclusive Linux game, we have found the most demanding Linux game ever created. Damn shame it's this, but
You know what? I'm pretty sure I could code something similar to that if I just had the CPU do an obscene amount of math.
I could
Every
do.
step-
I could manage this out of spite and throw a chessboard on top of it. Yes, it is free to
Yeah.
play. Check it out at Gary'sChess.tk. It's going to be in the show notes.
If you have
Well-
a stupidly powerful like dual Xeon system that you can play this on, you got to pay for the extreme AI though. So
Well,
Yeah.
that's the one thing I like with Extreme. It can take anywhere between 10 seconds and 10 minutes.
as it simulates the entire chess game.
You got to
And
like
the
AI
players.
that's like, F you, we'll get around to it. But there's that. Now, stretching a little bit across the chasm, I guess.
The
it is.
chasm.
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 Now, this is
Uh,
new
that-
Linux, right?
Sort of.
Kind of.
Well, Pedro was having some issues running it, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I run the bash script, which is basically just mono and then the exe, and it runs fine. This is like a platformer type. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. And
It's
or like Legend of Zelda 2. One of these side-scrolling run around, stab crap, run back, and
Yeah. It explore expansive procedurally generated Metroid-like dungeons and Metroid-like dungeons. That's just wrong, man.
it runs fine on my system.
Yeah.
The one major gripe I have about it is the controls are really weird.
I heard it needed some patching.
Some patches
Yeah.
from Mr. Floobity
at least on my end. Because when I ran the bash script and it didn't work, I actually opened it up with Kate and had a look at it. And it's just mono and an exe file. That's pretty lazy exporting
I saw
right
that
there.
launcher. I kind of face palmed a bit hard when I saw that.
Yeah, and
It works.
well, it wouldn't run for me. It really
No.
wouldn't run for me, so I went looking at their forums and I saw the post by Flibbity Jibibo himself that he went into detail why the game probably wouldn't work for most people like that, or the problems some people might have, and he actually posted a patch which I downloaded, and then the game actually ran on my end because it wasn't just mono exe, it was actually a Linux native binary. So I managed to get around and play for a couple of minutes. It puts me in the mindset of Terraria without the terrain manipulation. Yeah.
Yep, I've had my fill of pixel games, just to be honest about that. But, good work on that and good work on finding the patch from
And the link for that patch will be in the show notes. And this is from discordgames.com.
Yeah, neat stuff, Ben. So, Pedro, I heard you're a man's man. You like sports.
I heard you got some tennis elbow.
Actually, no, I don't. I do not like sports. I do not like sports video games.
Go!
USA, USA, USA.
No, this is Tennis Elbow 2013. Kind of a quirky, indie game. They really do focus on the realism and whatnot. It doesn't look bad. They have a, Linux version that's out in demo, 9 court surfaces, 300 tournaments, all that. The only down thing with this entire bit, you want to download the free demo. That's fantastic, but there's a catch. You see, that's EXE. There'll be a link in the notes to grab. You can't get it from the main page, but I'll show you where to get it in the notes.
Yep.
See, based on the title you threw in the show notes, I actually thought it was a tennis game that was coded with the Love Engine. Yeah, which would have been oddly appropriate. Well, and the second sports related game coded in love that we featured on the show. Yeah. If you didn't lie to me.
Ooh. Beware. I mean, it looks like something you might have played on the Sega Saturn.
32X?
Yeah, maybe 32X type graphics.
Tower of Power.
But they really do talk about, the physics and all that. 2 gigahertz required, half a gig of RAM, Pedro's video card, and the only downside is the Linux version doesn't have networking, so you can't compete, which apparently is like the big thing about this game, is all the rankings and tournaments and those bits. So we get this on Linux, so I would absolutely, but it's not a review, don't waste your time on it, because who wants to sit and play tennis against an A? Who wants to play tennis?
I want to play Pong now.
Pong's passable.
Pong is sort of technically tennis. Table tennis.
Tennis.
Table tennis.
But that's going to do it for the news. And we're back. Hopefully this is the part that you've been waiting for. This is where we throw lawn chairs. Not for sport, not that we're into wrestling, but it's our review system. Let's try to explain exactly how this works.
Good luck.
Chair explanation. 1 chair is nope. 2 chairs, check it out. 3 chairs, shut up and take our monies. Now we apply those chairs to 3 categories. First one being makes with the working. 2, shiny in the sounds. What does it look like? Does it scream in your ear, pussy? Make sure that's cool. 3, subjective portion, because that's how it rolls. How does it control? And is it fun? Now, we are testing this with 3 different people, 3 different distributions, 3 different video cards, all that fun bit. And we're not really trying to give you, 18-star reviews, so we have leeway. No, this is hard. And it's almost completely impossible to get 3 full chairs. Some try, all fail. But joining me for the reviews, as always, Master Sveng, the hammer.
Hello.
Hello, hammer.
The Hebrew hammer? Is that what you're getting at?
We all know.
Hi.
The Hebrew hammer himself, Pedro Mateos.
Hammer.
Holla. Fantastic put up this week for our
As a blast from the past.
Man, retro arcade goodness. Get off our lawns. Sonic the Hedgehog 3D by Easy Eddie. Now
you did not just go back in time, audience.
Oh no.
This is happening right now.
No, this is a thing, man. Look, characters.
Your character.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Do 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 do.
No, let's scream at this. This is actually built on the eDuke 32 engine. It is open source, so that means the price is a fair not. You run about
free.
If you've ever played Sonic, you get the idea. You spin around, you kill innocent fishes,
robots,
TV sets that shoot coins out of them. I mean, that's the thing, and you have a sexually ambiguous furry that follows you around with tails.
I think Tails is a man. His name's Miles. I don't know too many women named Miles.
Well, it could happen. But let's get up to that first category, and That's makes with the working. Here's my bed right here. Now, you might have noticed if we go to the download section, we have a couple options. Mac OS X, Ubuntu 12.10 64, Ubuntu 12.10 x86, and Windows. Now, you might think, me being the sucker that has to run the Ubuntu 32-bit Ultra Valve compatibility box for testing at Linux Gamecast, I would be happy about this. I'm not. You'd be wrong. Here's the dice, man. I don't like doing system-wide installs for games. I like having one folder, throwing them in there, and that's it. I also don't like downloading debs from untrusted sources, because then I got to dig through them. And F all if I'm, doing a system-wide install for that. But it does install, and it does run out of the box, as I would expect, being based on eDuke 32. You might know that from Duke Nukem 3D, but I'm going to have to ding this for not having a standard tar.gz, so boom, 2 chairs, that's all you're getting with a vengeance. So, J-Man.
Well, this worked fairly out of the box for me, aside from having to, download the deb file on RITs, grab one of the tarvals out, and extract to my root directory, where it does that, as Ven mentioned, system-wide install to user games, that folder that's really inhabited only by my BSD ports games of Tetris and whatnot. But no real issues running with it other than their launcher script is completely broken. So I opened that up, figured out what I needed to run, which is basically eduke32_sonic3d-g data.grp, and it runs well. So two chairs.
Boom. Making them with the chairs. Let's screech over to the Portugal.
P-Man.
P-Man.
Yeah.
He's P-Man, and Norway this is the one.
What do you got for us?
It's basically what you guys have already mentioned. Well, even a dying distribution that is not based on Ubuntu has its issues with the deb files. And, well, like Jordan said, their launch script didn't work out of the box, so after after extracting the tar GZ and untarring it to the root directory, I had to edit the sh file, make it run pretty, and after that, it pretty much ran unimpeded, so 2 chairs.
2 chairs, so that's going to be 2, 2, and 2, and a bit of simple maths. It gets 2 for makes with the working, I think.
I got 8. I'm bad at math.
Wow. Thank you.
Shiny.
Shiny in sounds, that is. Is it shiny and does it scream, more importantly?
Shiny.
Let me just go ahead and say I'm amazed. The first time I ever dealt with the Duke Nukem 3D engine was like in 1995. So long off of it. All that, but you take a look at what it is and what they have done with this engine. Just dumbfounded. I mean, outside of the character animations, it is shiny. So I'm really happy with that. So hail to the hedgehog, baby. But,
hail to the hedgehog.
The sound is very reminiscent of the original Sonic, which I had on my Genesis. Fun fact about that, I think upwards of 60% of the entire cart was for the Sega audio at the beginning. Because
Sega!
They wanted to go Sega, and the rest of it was just crammed in there. So all that said, looking at what it is and using the engine and how they made it look, using that engine being eDuke 32, I gotta give him 3 chairs on that. It is stupidly impressive work. Well, differences of opinions, I hear.
Yes, I would not be as generous as Ven. I mean, ultimately it boils down to, for what it is, the game looks fine, it sounds fine, but it's really nothing special. It's not a shut up and take my money, so I'm gonna give it 2 chairs.
All right. screech over here.
Well, in my case, to be honest, there's nothing wrong with the graphics themselves.
Pedro, can I ask you something?
Shoot.
Didn't you used to review games professionally?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
There's our shred of credibility. And look at it go up in a poof of smoke. Look at
the graphics themselves, come on.
Go on, Pedro. I'm done interrupting you.
Yeah. Well, the graphics were nothing, Jordan. Nothing spectacular, and Sonic 3D Sonic games have never. Well, they never really got anything better than a lukewarm reception. When I actually reviewed games, like Ven mentioned, it was during the. Well, it was at the start of the era of looking down on 3D Sonic games. And yeah. So I may be a bit jaded, let's call it that. But other than that, the music, after like 3 minutes, it becomes a homogeneous mass of background noise in the shape of a cottonless Q-tip shoved into your ears. But, maybe that's just me.
So what's the
Pedro?
Yeah, unfortunately, much like Jordan, I'm going to have to give it a 2.
Bam. Sit back and relax in stereo.
Yep.
So, what do we got? We got 3, 2, and 2, and that is going to make it for Shiny and Sound Simple Maths 2. See, our review is simple. Simple. It yay or nay, and the middle part is meh plus at best. But our last category is control and fun, being our only subjective category, and it's kind of neat. This for me is where Sonic 3D mixed with a fail sauce, and it is with the controls. Because when I say the controls, yes, technically, it works out of the box using a keyboard and a mouse, but nobody has ever sat down and played Sonic the Hedgehog and said, oh, this is fantastic, I want to play it on a keyboard and mouse. It doesn't happen. That's not how we originally played it. That's not how it was ever designed to be played, even in 3D. So, keyboard, wireless gerbil support, that's fine. It detected my Logitech Precise, which is like the adamantium of the Logitech gaming pads. But F all if I could ever figure out its cryptic setup to configure it. Had no luck with that. So it is crib stomping time with a 1 on the chairs. For me, for control and fun, J-Man.
Even though it's not meant to be played with a keyboard and mouse, I find it more or less playable. The camera follows fairly close though, so I found that a bit annoying.
Yeah.
But yeah, the controller support was pretty messed up. I'm with you on that. I had no goddamn idea what the hell I was doing trying to set that up. Axes and stuff like that. It makes no sense. But anyways, you know what? For the nostalgia giggles I got from it, I'd give it a 2 cheers. Check it out. Spend the 5 minutes and then put it away forever. It doesn't cost you anything.
Go rock in a corner silently weeping. Now, Pedro?
Well...
Did you used to review games?
Hmm?
You said that already. Then I think
Yeah.
I think your Alzheimer's is getting worse.
Oh, you simple man. I'm just ripping on the first 2 reviews that we did with Pedro says, you might remember that I used to review. Anyway, now that joke's been beaten.
Back.
Right.
No, I mean, the Duke 32 engine is based on the Quake 2 engine, and
Bzz.
the Quake... It isn't?
It's based on the Duke Nukem build engine.
Oh. Okay, then it's even older than I was pointing it out to be. So, yeah. when it comes to controls, like I've said many times before, I don't mind platforming with the keyboard and mouse. And, well, if you ignore the Sonic character animations and some of the mishap textures...
Those were pretty brutal.
Yeah. If you ignore that, it's a moderately interesting game. But then again, I was never really into Sonic as a 2D game. And 3D, well, it sort of just adds a new dimension to my indifference. So, 2 chairs.
2 chairs it is. And
So that about totals it up
yeah,
to
boop, boop, beep, boop, boop, boop,
boop,
beep,
boop, boop,
beep,
uno.
boop. Bam, right there. 1 chair, and that 1 chair explanation. Nope. But maybe with an asterisk, since this is gratis. It's completely
Our
free.
review system is a bit Tumo Horror-ish in how much of a meat grinder it is.
Right. I mean,
It's
absolutely...
very it's actually fairly difficult to get a good score with this. So with every 1 chair review, we give it a little caveat saying,
Yeah.
well, in this
And,
case, Pedro.
Well, it's a mediocre game. There's absolutely nothing to set it apart from the rest of the dross that is your average Linux game. And, well, you like Sonic? Check it out. If you don't like Sonic, this won't change your mind.
That's kind of my thoughts. I said nice graphics, considering the engine being old as it is and what they have accomplished with it. But the Ubuntu-only installer and lack of proper gamepad support kills it, in my not-so-humble opinion.
I think I wouldn't be as harsh on it. I think for the 5 minutes of nostalgia giggles you're gonna get from this game, give it a run. It doesn't cost you anything. It's not that difficult to set up. So
we got a couple of screams in the chat room, but they can pick this up at indiedatabase.com / just do a search for Sonic the Hedgehog 3D. And you can grab a copy. Like we said, 1 chair, which, you know, maybe with a little asterisk because it's free. It won't cost you anything, but it still might be a pain in the ass to get it up and running on your system unless you're on Ubuntu. And even then, you still have to do a system-wide install. So I would suggest noping out of it. And that's just kind of what we're broken down to. But this has been what, Pedro?
No, that's just it.
What?
Making
Pedro?
squeaking sounds while I'm talking.
They could have at least
that's what
offered
happens
a
when you move
freaking
your jaw and you have a
TARGZ.
toothpick in your mouth.
Come on, man.
1.RGZ. But this has been our review for Sonic 3D. Oh, it's that time again. You see, we like you to scream back in our direction, and unfortunately, you constantly take us up on that offer and tell us horrible things and hate mail and all that fun stuff. Every now and then, maybe a good question or a good statement. More often than not, it's just making disparaging remarks about our mothers,
Resulting
mostly
in the
Pedro's.
Portuguese rage.
Yes. Nasty business that. You ever got in a fight with the Portuguese? It's all teeth and nails. But coming up first in our feedback for this week, province-based strategy. The hell is this all about, Pedro?
Well, it comes from Vast Zero, and he asks, does anyone know of a strategy game that I can play on Linux that is province-based like the Europa Universalis series, Knights of Honor, or Crusader Kings? I know each of those are unique in their own way, but they all have some concept of grand strategy. Also, I am using an Acer netbook with not the best specs, so the Linux version of Crusader Kings 2, which was what I was going to suggest at first, requires just a little more than my machine can offer. Then he goes into the specs, and I guess in the end, I'm looking for a relatively simple RTS or turn-based strategy game, not like Free Civ, Civilization Series Clone, or Zero AD. I don't even know if something like this exists.
And you recommended Dawns of Fantasy.
Yep. Which was the closest I could find to what he described, but then again, I'm not a strategy nut, so I could be way off. And
Pedro,
it
I
does
think we found
look,
someone who has a worse computer than you.
yeah, it's not easy at this point.
Achievement unlocked. Do we get a hack for
But
that?
yeah, it
We
does look
should.
really pretty, and I'm not sure that will run on a netbook.
No, but he did add a couple of bits more in the forum here.
Yes, we do have a forum, which you can go. Said
This is
Yeah.
LinuxGamecast.com.
seem to have the system requirements to
discussions.
play games like EU3 and KOH. Unfortunately, I'm having trouble running them through Wine. But then again, any suggestions appreciated. And Pedro, this was your suggestion then?
Yep.
And where
Dawn
can
of
he find
Fantasy.
this?
dof.reveryworld.com.
All right.
It's actually a pretty big download, so give it a look. Let me know if it is what you're looking for or not, because like I said, I'm not a strategy nut, so I may be way off.
And if you guys got any other suggestions, man, screech over to the forums. This is in the Linux game section, and write Vast Zero back if you have, ideas or whatever, tell them how awesome 080 is, because I love some of the voice work in that game, and it's a shame that you hate it.
So I this next email comes from Yanis.
Giannis.
And this made me scratch my chin a bit.
Ooh, which one?
And he says, "Hey guys, I've seen you been putting up videos of trying to multiplayer, so I thought you should act as my unofficial tech support." No.
Dance
Any
monkey.
idea how I can join non-Linux users' games? All Windows and Mac hosts have a ping of 999, and I'm pretty sure that's too a crappy for it. Any tips? Thanks. Well, Yanis, unfortunately for you, we don't have too much experience with that, considering our entire system is end-to-end Linux.
Yeah, and we only play on Linux. We only use Linux for recording, publishing, editing, and producing.
We're kind of clicky like that.
Yeah. You see those hats behind them? They run Linux.
Yeah. I got a dead badger in my closet running Linux too. You gotta dig that one out.
Yeah, they really do need to update Voodoo Linux. It's been a while.
They really do.
Yeah.
Man.
We're still in like a 2.4 kernel. This is disgraceful. No, in all seriousness, man, I've never really tried. Pedro, you've tried too. Is there a different? How do you even detect a Windows user from a Linux user on Try and under Steam?
When you open up the multiplayer options, it tells which OS the server is running on.
Okay.
And, well, most of them are Windows. But I have actually tried connecting to one of my friends who doesn't use Linux. And he needed
no friend of yours,
a bit of help
not a good
in
friend,
one
is
of
it?
those really complicated puzzles. And he asked me if I could join him. And at first I was like, yeah, joining Windows games from Linux? Because I had seen that.
And then he was like, Pedro, no, I mean, why don't you come over and join me?
Oh.
No, in the game.
Alright.
But yeah, I had actually seen the 9999 ping issue, and I thought I might not be able to, but it's just right-click, join game, done.
And really, I mean, if you're having a big problem with that, you might want to post in the Steam Community Hub for Trying to.
Yes. They have people who will listen there.
They have Windows users, people there. But no, man, thanks for sending that in. I don't know, we've never had any issues, but that's mainly because we only play with each other, giggity. That's, you can always watch our LGC players. We're on a mission to beat Trying to before 2038. That's our end goal. If we don't do it by then, we'll give
Before
up,
the 32-bit Unix time thing explodes?
basically.
Yep.
But, that is probably about the time to cue the music And let's tell them about where they can find us. Look at that. There's some players right there from the other night.
Yeah.
Linux
We did that recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see all that wonderful stuff at LinuxGamecast.com, where we got our wonderful podcast page. We got our wonderful forums that you can go have wonderful conversations with not so wonderful people on. We also got our YouTube channel, youtube.com/LinuxGamecast. We have our live stream, and if you're not watching us live, well, shame on you. You should be. And that's at linuxgamecast.com/live. Also, check out our favorite little subreddit, Linux_gaming, _, for all your Linux news needs. And finally, last but not least, Game-O-Who. Watch it.
Yes,
Comment.
it is our little
enjoy.
podcast where we talk about Doctor Who and Game of Thrones every week. It's fantastic,
Right.
and by fantastic, I mean it's pretty miserable, but we're getting there. It's just even more Vin, Pedro, and Jordan than you could possibly ever want, and we deliver on that. But
Yes, we're fat soluble as well, so we'll stay in your system for not years, days.
spinal taps, man, hair test, that's the only way to detect us after so
Yes.
long. But tell the
You
people where they
might
can
you might need a spinal tap.
tell them where they can find you, Master Sven.
Yeah, but you can find me at The Burning Fool on Twitter or plus Jordan Spung on Google+. You can find this clown at Venstone, or cleverly hidden at plus Venstone on Google+. And this guy down here is Pedro Mateus, and you can find him at unaccounted for plus Pedro Mateus. And I think that about wraps it up for this week.
For another Linux Gamecast Weekly. This is Vin Stone. Still waving. How'd you going?
Wave.